We're coming up at the end of the football season, so that means, yeah, you get a combined episode, college and pros. We talk about the college football playoffs, what happened with Alabama, what happened with Ohio State, what happened with Ole Miss. We get into whether or not the Big Ten has caught up to the SEC. BJ retracts the statements from earlier, but um, the evidence is on the field. The Big Ten has caught up to the SEC, so we'll see if the Big Ten can pull out a third straight national championship with a third different team. That'll be interesting. And then we move into our picks for the games, and then we move into the NFL. We don't really talk about Week 18 because if the players don't care, why do we care? But we do talk about the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game with a couple of coaching decisions there. Talk about the coaching openings that are around the NFL. What's the best opening if everything was being equal? And then we give our picks. And then congratulate everyone. It is going to be a fun weekend of football. 5 days of football, 5 days of playoff football. Pace yourself and just enjoy. Welcome to number one local sports podcast in Central Florida. This is Sandlot Sports. I am Adam Capperson. I'm here with BJ Thomas, and we're still waiting Dorian Cody. He is taking care of himself, so when he comes back, we will be waiting for him. But we will get started this week in college. Let's go there. Um, Couple things that were surprising to me. One was Ohio State losing to Miami, which shouldn't have been after watching Miami just completely destroy their offensive line. But the bigger one was watching Indiana just embarrass the entire state of Alabama.
Huh? I mean,
What
so
what are
I don't think the Indiana outcome was more of a surprise than Ohio State getting their ass handed to them. I don't think
fair?
that's the case. Yeah, so I think you have that backwards.
Okay.
I see what you tried to do there. What you tried to do is magnify the Big Ten's contribution to the playoffs. You were trying to enhance it, and I was like, no, that can't be done.
Hey, well,
Yeah.
they are guaranteed a spot in the championship game.
Okay.
So it is what it is. Um, and I will say this, there has been a lot of conversation since Thursday about, oh, the SEC is down. The SEC is like, oh, guys, hold on, hold on. The SEC is still a premier conference. Okay. Their teams are still good. Teams it was still very good
I don't even know why you're addressing this.
because I have to.
I don't think you do.
Okay.
I mean, everybody knows the SEC is one of, if not the best conference in the country. That's not a question. The question is like people that have been thirsty for so long are finally tasting success, and it's just getting a little noisy. It's fine.
So
It's
now
fine.
I will say this. When this season started, I asked you very specifically if the Big Ten won a championship this year, would you say that they are on equal footing of the SEC? And you said yes. Do you still agree with
I
that?
must. I don't know. I don't know. It was a period of time that was thoroughly dominated and about a decade long,
It was actually more, it was more like 15
15
years.
years.
Yeah.
So like, let's just let's just see what happens.
And and
Let's
and and I actually asked a friend of mine this very specific question. So the SEC was dominant for I would say probably 15 years. Okay. How much of that was, and we can talk about percentages, was they had elite talent on the field and on the sidelines with the coaches? How much of that was just a media thing? Hey, the SEC is beating ranked teams every week because they have to be ranked. How much of that was just the SEC won championships because no one else could get in the playoffs because they were being ranked? And you can play with those percentages however you want. I lean towards there was a supreme talent gap from the SEC and everything else. I was also on the stance that the SEC was very top heavy because it was Alabama. and a team here or there that would pop up and down. Whereas the middle of the SEC was equivalent to the middle of the Big Ten. And I still believe that.
Yeah, I don't.
That's fine.
I don't. The Indiana thing's nice, but we'll see how sustainable it is and how many people are going to let Signetti stay at Indiana. You know what's gonna happen after this season.
Well, I know that they're going to have to pay at least more than $10 million a year.
Well,
Because that's what his extension was.
yeah, I'm just saying the next couple of years for Signetti in Indiana could be interesting.
So, there's also two stats that I think are interesting. So, since 2024, when the Big Ten has played the SEC in bowl games, and I know how you feel about random bowl games, but when the Big Ten has played the SEC in any bowl game, the Big Ten is 8-2. Now, I know what you're going to say. Well, what about when it matters in the playoffs? When the Big Ten has played the SEC in the playoffs since 2024, the Big Ten's 4-0.
So since when?
2024.
Okay. Okay, so we're talking about 18 months.
Yes.
Okay. Versus 15 years.
I'm just the question
Look,
is
look. I have been thirsty, and I've seen a bottle of water, and I've gotten a bottle of water, and it makes you think that water's fucking amazing. Just calm down.
it doesn't even need a Mio in it. It's just
Just calm
water.
down. Just calm down. You're just thirsty. You're thirsty. It's been a long time.
And I am not going to be the one. ESPN and Fox, they're extreme. I am not going to be one that says the Big Ten has surpassed the SEC, but I'm going to go back to if the Big Ten wins three championships in a row, and there's still football yet to be played. Don't get me
I
wrong.
love above everything. We can go Big Ten, SEC, all you want. Fact of the matter is, those guys come from down here. Fact of the matter is,
That's
ain't no
true.
Ohio boys winning national championships.
No,
Ain't no Wisconsin boys winning national championships.
no,
Okay,
but
so
where
SEC country all day.
but where do you go to school?
Whoever
So
pays the most.
and there is that too. So
Yeah,
the 2024 timeline is interesting because that's when NIL legally started really going to players.
yeah, I know, but so you guys weren't. You definitely weren't paying players.
Oh, I'm not saying we were or we're not. I'm
Okay,
just saying this
but
is
what
the
I'm
line
saying
in the
is, what
sand.
I'm no, but what I'm saying is like, yeah, that's the line in the sand that spread the talent not to Michigan but to like Utah. That's what spread the talent to like Nevada. That's what spread the talent to New Mexico. That those players are going there and taking that because that's how they're getting their best chunk of money.
I,
That's
and
where
I
the talent goes.
I would actually counter that because kids are starting at New Mexico, UNLV,
Yeah,
Fresno State, balling out and taking the bags and going to the bigger schools.
right. But initially, what they're doing is they're taking the most money they get, so that allows them to go to programs they normally wouldn't think of. And that's where the talent. That's where a lot of the talent's leaking out at, in my opinion.
Fair.
It's not that they stopped going to Florida and started going to Michigan. It's that they stopped going to Florida and started going to Arkansas because Arkansas offered me 200,000 more for a season. So that's where the talent's leaking out. It's going to other schools, not the major schools.
That's fair.
So the major schools are just fighting with the same resources they always had. The SEC's just losing out to their second string players going to fucking BFE because they get paid more.
And I think you just touched on the biggest point is Alabama. How many years did Alabama have
Five
a
four-star running backs.
a five-star running back that would win the Heisman? He would graduate and they would have another Heisman running back, like
No,
right in the wings.
they had 3, 4, 5 stars at one time.
Yeah. But now, if they have a five-star running back and he's not getting playing time, he's leaving.
So that's what's happening, in my opinion. That's what's happened to Florida. That's what's happened in some part to LSU. and other teams, Auburn especially. Auburn's probably of that same caliber. They've lost out on some talent. If you don't have a good coach in place, the money's only going to get you so far because the kids will get paid until they start losing and their rep takes a hit.
Yep. I mean, Nick Marsh is a good example of that. Was recruited really high out of high school, went to Michigan State because he thought, well, hey, that coach he was great at Oregon State, flamed out, and he's like, fuck this, I'm going to Indiana. And I want to give you credit for something you said in the group chat, but I want to bring it here on the air. You mentioned that at Alabama, there's a lot of 18, 19, 20-year olds that are on that roster, as opposed to Indiana, where it's a lot of 20, 21, 22,
Well,
23-year olds.
to be fair, that was something I saw on the internet. It's not like I didn't come up with that, but I did see it and I read about it a little bit. And I mean, look, that's a solid difference. Those are grown men,
Yeah.
you know. And there's some special 18-year-olds out there. Don't get me wrong. There's some real special 18-year-olds out there. But still, man, you're not typically as strong or a similar muscle mass. I mean, there's differences. There's differences between 5 years of strength training. Think about that. Think about the difference between lifting weights from 18 to 24.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, oh my gosh. So, like I said, there are special kids out there, but damn,
And,
that seems like an uphill battle.
and if you're in Alabama, if you're in LSU, if you're in Ohio State, how do you combat that? Because if you're going to get you're Ohio State, you're going to get the best of the best of the best coming out of high school. They're playing at Ohio State, they're balling out, they're leaving when they're 20.
Mm-hmm.
How do you compete consistently with guys who may have not been as recruited as high, but are sticking around more, and like you said, are getting bigger and stronger?
I would try to get the 23 and 24-year-olds on the lines,
Yes.
the front seven on the defense. And I would run with the 18, 19-year-olds at the skill positions and just let them rip.
Okay.
That's my plan.
I mean, it goes with what we've said from the very beginning.
Just control the fucking line of scrimmage, please.
Football's not complicated.
Just control it. And just control that. You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And that does. You don't even have to be sack free,
No.
but you can't let a defensive line dictate lanes, and you got to have some control.
That was Alabama's problem. I mean,
Yeah, there's no excuses. I mean, Alabama's got plenty of talent on that team, but there's been a severe drop off of the. I don't know. I don't even know how to quantify it because Alabama's quarterbacks are not good NFL quarterbacks. Jalen
no.
Hurts has gone the furthest, and I don't even know if he's the best passer. Um, but like AJ McCarron, Wilson, going all the way back to, who's the dude that wound up in Kansas City? Brody Croyle?
Yes.
Like, there's just a whole list of them who are great backups, probably, and great in the locker room, and probably smart on film, but they just don't, for whatever reason, turn the corner. But there's been a drop off at the quarterback play at Alabama.
Well, I have a piece to add to that. Is it a drop off of the quarterback play, or is it a drop off of the offensive line?
They
Because
go hand in hand.
they do go hand in hand. So in the past 3 games, Alabama has had a total of 51 yards rushing in 3 games.
Yeah,
That's not Alabama like.
that can have a lot to do with it.
And if you can't run the ball, more than likely you can't pass the ball because those do go hand in hand. And if your quarterback isn't magical, I don't give a damn who you have as receiver.
Yeah. So, I didn't watch the whole game, but I didn't think I need to.
It was over by halftime. I mean, you could tell by halftime that that game was over. Alabama couldn't do a goddamn thing.
Yeah, I don't know how long Kalen DeBoer is going to be there. To be honest with you.
Well, okay. So the really funny kind of inside baseball thing was his wife hates Tuscaloosa, hates it. Okay,
Oh, that's not
it's
going to
just
work out.
not for her. So he was supposed to get a contract offer 2 weeks ago from a team that had a head coaching position opened, but they beat Oklahoma. And that team was like, well, we can't wait for you to play at Indiana and may or may not win. So we're going to pull the contract. And now they're stuck.
What team is that?
That would be Michigan.
I like Kyle Whittingham better, anyways. I'm
It's
glad he's
so do
getting a
I.
shot.
Now, I do like the joke that you can't have side pieces if you're married to them. So,
True.
and with Michigan going for a moment, sure, why not? But if DeBoer cannot turn this around in Tuscaloosa next year, he will not make a fourth year.
No, he's got to go to Cincinnati to fix it or something.
Yeah, because it and this is his MO going back to Washington. Whereas when he went against tough defenses, couldn't couldn't handle it. So this is now becoming a pattern for him. Something else that's becoming a pattern is Kirby Smart having coaching meltdowns.
You see that former player said that as long as the offensive coordinator Bobo, is it Bobo, offensive
Mike
defense?
Bobo, yep.
Yeah, Bobo and the defensive coordinator, Georgia won't win a national championship.
No. I mean, Schumann has won multiple national championships as a defensive coordinator. Bobo, the game has passed him by. Like I've had numerous Georgia fans tell me that Mike Bobo needs to go like now.
Yeah, but I know you got to think Kirby feels some kind of loyalty to this whole situation.
At some point you just got to go,
I
"Hey,
know,
I love you.
I know.
I do. You're invited over for Thanksgiving, but your services are now no longer needed here." And it sucks.
Tough. Football's one of the hardest games to kind of like evolve in while you're in the process. So like, I think it's hard for coaches to maybe the great ones do it. It's hard to evolve during the season. It's hard to evolve while you're in. Um, Maybe you're having a certain amount of success. You kind of get tied to what you're doing a little bit, and you know what I'm saying. You get
Hmm.
committed to the process that you have, and I don't know. Maybe his routes are out of date, his concepts are out of date, or whatever. But I wonder if it's just kind of too hard for your average coach to evolve throughout a couple seasons.
Well, and let's think about that for a second. So, like, if I'm a coach and I've been winning this way, or consistently winning, okay,
Or been taught like this for 10, 15 years.
oh, and more than that, Bobo has
Yeah.
been taught like this for like 30 years. So this is what you think of. So not only is this the playbook you run, you got the players to run this playbook. You got a certain kind of player to
Yeah.
come in. And
Now you're
so,
doubly committed to the situation.
yeah.
You have a little mental bias to it, and now you're actually financially invested.
So, I mean, and it's hard to flip that switch. So you need,
Matt Eberflus.
yeah, but you need somebody that can tweak every so often, and
Yeah.
not so much completely just change your mentality because you're not going to,
Yeah.
but tweak what you're doing, or you're going to be Don Brown,
Right.
you're going to be Mike Bobo, you're going to be Matt Eberflus, where once the book is out on you, you're useless.
It's that damn 3 year cycle in college football too. That's what's part of it. Like that's why it's happening. Is I think a lot of guys aren't allowed to, or able to keep up.
But it's interesting. Didn't you get a guy like Kurt Ferentz, who's has been in Iowa since I can remember?
He just keeps playing defense,
Yeah,
whatever defense he comes up with, I guess.
I mean, and that's what's really funny. Like the joke in the Big Ten. I know you don't follow the Big Ten like I do, but the joke is that Iowa they require at least 3 downs to get 10 yards every single drive.
Yeah.
So, and it's been that way forever. So when they scored 34 points on Vanderbilt, I was like, what the hell are you doing? This is Iowa.
They said surprise.
Yeah. And literally they make you do stupid things. I saw the Vanderbilt punter try to run, cross the line of scrimmage, and then punt the ball for reasons I don't even know.
Yeah. Collapse.
Yeah, I mean, and how much of that cycle, that 3, 4, 5 year cycle, is going to get ramped up now with boosters not only paying guys above the table, but paying them significantly more. Because, I mean, Cam Newton, when he was at Auburn, he quote unquote turned down $50,000 at Mississippi State because Auburn had more morals. So we'll tackle that there. Let's just say, for example, let's say Auburn paid him $100,000. That's chump change nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you think these boosters, like if they're paying $20 million for a roster, they don't want results and they're not going to get
Right.
mad if you go 7-5?
Well, of course. It's
So,
all about return on investment.
yep. So, and that's where it'll be interesting for like teams like Texas Tech, where I mean, their guys went all in this year. I think their roster cost them like $25 million for this year to do what? Make the playoffs and not score a point.
Yeah. Consistency.
So I don't know. I mean, you almost have to find lightning in a bottle and overpay to keep it. Going back to your Signetti comment, is I mean, when he was hired in Indiana, he's like, I just went Google me, and he's right. But it's also Indiana. At what point does Alabama just pull the trigger and say, Kalen, peace out. We're getting Signetti in here, and we're going to pay him $20 million a year.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be nuts if that happened.
I mean, Indiana was right after he beat Oregon. They went, okay, here's your new contract extension. We're not even going to let you negotiate.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. Um, but we have 2 games this weekend, and I want to say this. I'm going to say this during the NFL segment too, but we have 5 straight days of playoff football this week. You realize that?
I'm excited about it.
You're gonna sit your ass down on the couch and not
Yes.
move.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to do some. I'm gonna do some kind of walking, some kind of pacing to keep keep my steps up.
Well, the nice thing is that the games are spread out. On Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday they're at night. And then so they're spread out. You're fine. You're good. It's Saturday and Sunday. You gotta have issues, but you're fine.
I'm upset the football season's already over.
And it's depressing.
Yeah, it happened so quick.
I know. It's one of those things like we get so excited, and then like by like week 5, it's like, wait a second, the season's already a quarter over. God damn it.
It goes by
So,
so fast.
but we are going to pick the games. We are going to pick the playoff games. There are 2. So we'll start with the Miami Ole Miss game. I could not tell you who Ole Miss's coach is going to be, nor the coordinators. I don't know what the hell is going on there.
I think it's great. I think it's great. They're coming at you from all directions.
You
Psychological warfare.
You have no idea what their game plan is because I'm not
No
sure they do
clue what
either.
the hell's going on. Nobody knows anything. Um, my bias wants me to pick Ole Miss, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay. It worries me watching Miami. 'Cause I haven't watched much Miami football this year. Um, they looked great against Ohio State. It worries me that that might be that team that just that one game they were fantastic. The matchup was great and they took advantage. And I see the line of 2.5 of Miami being favorite. I'm thinking everyone else thinks the same way. Um, but the thing is defense is very consistent. And you said it earlier, if you have a solid defensive line, which Miami does, it'll keep you in games. Now, the Mississippi quarterback, that dude's a stud, but he's not going to be a stud if he's on his ass. So I'm actually going Miami to beat the spread. So this also might be why BJ's 5 games ahead of me in the standings this year. So there's that. So next on the list is Oregon versus Indiana. Oregon, sorry, Indiana's a 4.5 point favorite. So I'll let you go first.
I don't know. They keep finding ways to win big football games.
They remember they did play earlier. Indiana won by 10.
Yeah, I don't know if Oregon's gonna pull that off. Jeez, I want to pick Oregon, but I just don't think they're the better team. I guess I'm gonna say Indiana.
Yeah, I'm going with Indiana too. And the thing with them, and I was telling people this watching that Alabama game is they don't beat themselves. Very rarely are they out of position. Very rarely do they commit turnovers. Very rarely do they commit penalties. If you do that, if you're always in the right position, and you're not beating yourself with turnovers and penalties, you're going to be in most games, especially against good teams. And that's what Indiana does. So I was surprised the first time when they played when Indiana beat them in Eugene. I would not be surprised if Indiana beats them again this year, this week, and covers. So um, it'll be a fun game, but my God, I mean that was Alabama's worst loss since 1998, and it was their worst loss ever against a non-conference opponent,
Mm.
which is it says more about Indiana than Alabama, but it says a lot about Alabama where they are now, right now.
Yeah, they've Alabama's got a lot to sort through.
Yes. So, but let's leave college. Let's go to the pros. Um, we'll go back to the NFL. There wasn't much from week 18 to talk about, and we even said this last week. A lot of these teams didn't care. A lot of these teams didn't really have a lot to play for. Um, even the ones that play their starters didn't really open the playbook like they would. Um, so I mean it is what it is. But I do want to talk about the last game of the week, and that was the Pittsburgh Baltimore game.
That was a fun game.
It was a fun game,
Yeah, I couldn't
and
believe that Calvin Austin got that wide open at the end of the game.
well,
Cornerback slipped though.
yeah,
I don't know if it's on that.
yeah. Well, the quarterback slipped, but Rodgers was tearing him up in the fourth quarter. I
Yeah,
figured
he was.
there was a safety that was out for Baltimore. Was
Kyle
it?
Hamilton.
Yeah, I want to say Hamilton or Humphreys. He was out, and it jacked up their coverage.
Yeah.
When so that has something to do with it. Um, but I wanted to ask you this because I didn't ask you when we were watching the game. So first of all, side note, second time this year that well in the past few months that this has happened to me, and I thought this was a really cool experience. Collectively watching a game with friends across the state all at the same time, all communicating about the same game was really cool. Because when the Baltimore Pittsburgh game was going on, we were in a group chat for the show. I was in another group chat with some other fans. I was in another group chat with some other football fans, and it was really cool to kind of just talk to everybody while experiencing the game itself. And that's something that's quintessential 2025, 2026. So that was really, really fun. Um, but what I wanted to ask, and I didn't, was after Pittsburgh missed the extra point, and you could clearly see the wind take that ball and just say, fuck you in particular, you're not making it because it was right down the middle and then it wasn't.
Yeah.
If you're John Harbaugh at that time, you see that happen with the wind and you can feel it. You know that wind is whipping. And you get down to the Pittsburgh 21 and you've got 20 something seconds left and a timeout. Why would you not take a shot at the end zone or two, knowing the wind is crazy?
Uh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they just had the faith in their kicker.
I mean, that's fair.
You don't keep a guy on the team, because he can't kick.
Yeah. And I mean, he's a rookie kicker, but he was making them all season. But again, we all witnessed the wind take the ball from Boswell and just said, no, you're not making this kick. So does that not enter your mind of going, hmm, let's take a couple shots of the end zone here. I have a timeout. So even if Lamar takes a sack, I can call a timeout and we can regroup. Oh, I'm not an NFL coach. I thought it was curious that they completed it down to likely, ran the clock out. I'm sorry, put the ball in the middle of the field, ran the clock out, and then attempted the field goal. I was shocked they didn't at least try to go to the end zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure the thought process behind that. It might have just been the what they had in their sheet.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about this in the past of like coaches, they have this sheet, this analytics of right in front of them, and they're not watching the game. They're not watching what's in front of them. So, but John Harbaugh was the coach of Baltimore. He is no longer the head coach of Baltimore. So there are now seven head coaching positions that are open in the NFL. Okay? I'm going to put this to you. They say, BJ, we will pay you 5 years, $10 million a year to come here. Any of the seven positions, any of the seven jobs. Which one are you taking? There's the Raiders, the Cardinals, the Titans, the Giants, the Browns, the Falcons, or the Ravens.
The Raiders.
The Raiders?
The Raiders.
Okay.
They have instant offense. Just add offensive line. I mean, Brock Bowers, didn't he almost have 1,000 yards and they can't block?
I think so.
Didn't Genty have 1,000 all-purpose yards and they can't block?
So Bowers had 680 yards receiving,
How many catches?
64,
Jeez. How many games played?
12.
Yeah. What's 64? 64 divided by 12.
Um, roughly like five catches a game.
Yeah, they can't they can't block, but they got the man the ball 5 catches a game. They can't block, but they got Genty 1,000 all-purpose yards probably.
He hit 975 rushing yards.
Yeah, so he's probably got 1,500 all-purpose yards, 1,600 all-purpose yards,
Let me pull it up real quick.
and they can't block. Get some offensive line in there. Turn that offense loose. Shit, bring Jacoby Brissett over. Like, no, seriously, like get somebody serviceable in there working that offensive line because you don't want your quarterback in the future with no offensive line.
No,
So, I mean, no offense to Jacoby, but he's not the quarterback of the future. He can come in there and run offense and call and get that offensive line lined up enough to not die, or break himself because he's been through everything. Just get an experienced backup who's productive and start building that offensive line.
so I didn't give you the stat when I was going through, but it goes back to what you were just saying. Not only do they have the number one pick in the upcoming draft, they have $100 million in cap space.
Mm.
That's enough to build an offensive line.
I didn't even know that. Yeah, I'll go ahead and stay with the Raiders. I think my pick was correct. Inadvertently, I didn't even know the cap space situation.
So
Jeez, they got half a team worth of cap space. It's actually like a third, isn't it? Isn't it like 200 and something million?
it's 290, I think, is the
290.
cap.
So it's like a third, but still, that's a third of a team they can still spend on. But yeah, I'm going after all kinds of offensive line if I'm the Raiders, and then add the defensive bits that I can. Looking for a quarterback. I don't know if it's in this draft. I'd
It's
prefer
not.
to get the line built first.
Yeah. Well, and I think we've said that in the past is
Excuse me.
if you have an offensive line and you have an average quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
you build that and then you bring in your shiny object. You don't get your quarterback first and then you build your offensive line because your quarterback's gonna die before you can reach his potential.
Right.
And not only that, but in this draft, there ain't a quarterback I would pick. I'm not spending my first round draft pick on Fernando Mendoza.
No. Or dude from Vanderbilt, or who else is out there? That's even
Dante Moore is the only other quarterback from
yeah.
the guy from
It's just
Oregon.
I'm just not so sure there's that guy that can justify drafting in the first round.
No, especially not with the number one pick. And I mean, and to your point, if I'm the Raiders, I'm trading that pick. I'm getting down in the draft and I'm getting as many offensive linemen as I can. And if I can't, because you need a trade partner, I'm going, okay, who's the best left tackle in the draft? I don't give a damn if he's a mid first round grade. Who's the best left tackle?
Yeah, and they might not need to replace the whole offensive line. When an offensive line is bad, that doesn't mean all five are bad. That's a real chain situation. When you start to have a bad link, everybody starts to look bad.
Yeah, I saw it somewhere where an offensive line is as weak as its weakest link.
Yeah, yeah, because they're just going to get beat off that side, and they're going to put the best player over there, and it's just how it's going to be. So, yeah, they might not have to spend so much on the offensive line. They might need two or three pieces and have a good offensive line in the NFL.
And get a serviceable quarterback.
Yeah. Or if they've assessed it and they feel they only need two or three linemen, plug those holes and throw everything at Joe Burrow.
That'd be interesting. If you're Burrow, do you do that?
Well, it depends on if the Raiders have shown enough that they're willing to fix that offensive line. Like, have they made great strides towards it? But I don't know how much more Joe Burrow's willing to stand in Cincinnati.
If he comes back this year, this is probably his last year, unless they fix their own offensive line problems.
Yeah, because he's getting hammered out there.
And the fact that they're not letting Zach Taylor go tells me they're not trying to fix the problem.
Burrow's a part of that, though. I wonder who typically holds the ball more in the pocket. I bet you he's on that list.
I'm sure we could find it somewhere. Yeah, it's not as easy as I was hoping. Because I know they have it of like time to throw. And I mean, does he pat the ball more or does he make quick decisions?
No,
And
receivers like those guys, you tend to hold it longer, waiting for them to break out.
yeah, but that's also why Caleb Williams has made the jump that he's made this year is because he stopped overthinking. He just like, okay, I know DJ Moore can beat his guy. If he's even, he's leaving. I know Roma Nuzze, if he's out there, he's gonna catch it. And as really cool as it is to watch um Jamar Chase just run wild, get him the ball on an 8 yard slant. Get T. Higgins the ball on a 10 yard out. You know, how much of that is Burrow and how much of that is the offensive coordinator not saving his quarterback? Because how many times have we seen it where a quarterback is getting just hammered and the offensive coordinator refuses to call screen patterns? Going back to your conversation earlier about just stubbornness, and this is how I got to where I am, and I'm not changing.
Yep. The inability to evolve.
Yep. But if some dude who watches it on Sundays goes, okay, you're getting beat, throw a screen pass in here just randomly, make them think about it because you're not blocking them anyway. So make them think for a second.
Anything.
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 Oh, okay. So they do have time to throw. Okay. So where is Burrow? Where is Burrow? Okay. According to NFL Next Gen Stats, whatever, Burrow had 2.8 seconds to throw every time he dropped back. That was just south of Dak Prescott. It was 2.82 seconds to throw.
So that leads me to believe he might tend to hang on to the ball a little bit
Um, he's about 18th in the league.
in time to throw.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's the time he's allowed or the time he takes.
it just says time to throw. Yeah, there's so many of these guys like Matthew Stafford. I mean, he's getting the ball, hitching and going.
Right.
So, but I mean, some of the guys that okay, this is not going to surprise you. The guy who hung onto the ball the most all season, Shedeur Sanders,
Hmm.
3.24 seconds to throw.
Oof. Yeah, that's longer than he needs to.
Yeah. And then surprisingly, Caleb Williams is second. Brock Purdy, J.J. McCarthy, Lamar Jackson. Lamar, I can see because his thing is he's trying to make a play, and I'm wondering if that's part of his problem. Is his legs just aren't in it anymore, but he doesn't know that they're not.
Hmm. I don't know. Maybe he's just sick of running,
It's
taking
like a
hits.
getting hit
Yeah.
because on that game on Sunday night, I think he had like 15 passes the entire game.
Hmm.
Let me just double check that because I want to. Yeah, Lamar was 11 for 18 for the entire game.
Oh, that's tough.
I mean, as a team, they only had 48 plays.
Those shots at Zay Flowers are huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that game wasn't Lamar's fault.
No. And realistically, the kicker just missed it. And
Right.
like I said, the wind took it. Yes, it's on the kicker. He's got to adjust, but that shit happens. Whether you want to say it was the priest blessing the end zone before the game, which was funny because it was that end zone that the priest put the holy water on. But the wind was kicking up. And that's why I started the whole show with why didn't they take shots to the end zone?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure the decision making behind it, but difference between a coaching change and not a coaching change.
Yeah. So, but before we move on to our picks, I will let you voice your pleasure, I guess, for the Cowboys getting rid of Matt Eberflus.
That should have happened mid-season, but we'll take it. We'll take it. Wasted an MVP caliber season from your quarterback because you can't stop the run again.
And they were great at times. And then at times they just were not.
Yeah. Geno Smith has unfollowed the Raiders and removed any references to the team following the firing of Pete Carroll. So he probably knows he's on his way out too.
Either that or he just like, I don't want to be associated with these people. Oh yeah, but I mean, Geno knows he's out. Geno's a great bridge, but with that team, they're just like, fuck it. No, we're gonna draft somebody. We're just gonna throw him in.
Mm.
And I mean, Atlanta with Raheem Morris is another one that should have been, just done earlier. Um, the one that gets me is the Colts. Okay, I know all the fans are upset at the collapse. I know all their fans are mad that they kept the coaching staff. Coaching staff's not the reason why Daniel Jones blew out his knee. Okay,
No.
and let's be real here. Where they finished, what was it, like 9-8? That's better than what they were projected to anyways. So I don't blame the coach. I don't blame the GM. They just got off to a really hot start, and then the starting quarterback got hurt, and they had to bring in a 44-year-old grandfather because their rookie quarterback wasn't ready yet. That's not the coach's fault.
No.
So, but it is wild card weekend. We have 6 wild card games this week. All of them should be good, regardless of what the spread is. I think all of them will be good. So, um, sadly for BJ, the regular season is over. I surpassed him by a singular game in our picks.
A singular one.
A singular game. But
I have to dominate the playoffs.
but we both beat ChatGPT, and in my book, that's what matters most. So we will start with the Rams at the Panthers. This is a rematch from a game earlier this season with the Panthers dominated.
Yeah,
Rams are
again. The Panthers' offense is broken. I'm going to go ahead and pick the Rams to cover that.
Okay. Chat's got the Rams winning by just one. Now, I will say this, that the Panthers got screwed in that game against Tampa because there were some calls that was like, what is going on? But that being said, unless Stafford shits himself again, I don't know how Carolina can score enough points because their defense is mid, and when the Rams are rolling, they're rolling. So I'm going with you. I'm with the Rams. Okay. The Packers are 1.5 point favorite at the Bears.
I'll take it the Bears.
Okay. Chat's got the Bears. So do you. I do not trust Green Bay. I do not trust Jordan Love. From what I remember, he had one, two great playoff games. One against the 49ers, one against the Cowboys in 2 separate years. And then that's been it. Other than that, he's been pathetic. I'm going with Ben Johnson in the Bears. So, which hurts me to say, but I'm doing it. Okay. Buffalo is a 1.5 point favorite at Jacksonville.
Oh, I don't know. This Buffalo team's like really wonky over the past few weeks. Shoot. I think I'm gonna go with Buffalo on this. That's what my gut tells me.
Chat went with Jacksonville. So did I. Here's my thing for Josh Allen. Okay, these playoffs don't have Lamar, don't have Joe Burrow, don't have Patrick Mahomes. If he doesn't make the AFC Championship game this year, when specifically if he doesn't make the Super Bowl this year, when is he going to?
Mm.
Because I know like everyone is talking about who's under the most pressure, yada yada yada. No, this is the year for Josh Allen to do it. And if he doesn't do it this year, I don't know if he ever will. And I don't think he does. I think Jacksonville wins this game. Okay. San Francisco and their distinct lack of defense against the Eagles, and Philly is a 3.5 point favorite.
San Francisco looked pretty terrible against the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Uh, is this where the Eagles turn it on?
If not now, when?
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. I'll say the Eagles on this.
Yeah. Chad agrees with you. Again, I don't know how San Francisco scores. They looked shitty, for lack of a better term, against Seattle. Philly's defense is just as good. Philly might go up 10-0. The game's over. So yeah, I'm going Philly. Okay. The Chargers at New England. New England's a 3.5 point favorite.
I think I'll stick with. Oh, I think the Chargers are gonna win this game. Is Herbert playing?
Yeah,
Yep, I'm gonna say the Chargers win this game.
Chat's got New England. Um, this one hurts because I don't trust Drake May, but the Chargers have not looked right since Herbert hurt his hand. But they've been winning, so I don't know. I have no clue. Um, I think I think New England wins, but I think the Chargers beat the spread. So okay, Monday night, Houston's a 3.5 point favorite at Pittsburgh, where weird shit happens. as we just saw.
Yeah, but that Texans defensive line is pretty intense. I think I'll go with the Texans.
Yeah, and that's a clean sweep across the board for all of us. Yeah, that Rodgers does not do well. Not in most quarterbacks, but Rodgers does not do well, especially under pressure. Baltimore couldn't get to him, and he picked him apart. Now DK Metcalf, as far as I'm aware, is back.
Yes, that's what I heard.
So I don't know if it's going to matter.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not with that defensive line. I'd be impressed
Yeah.
if they pull that off.
So that's it for football this week. Like I said, there's 5 straight days of games, so enjoy them. And not just 5 day games, 5 straight days of playoff games.
Yes.
Here's hoping they are good. Um, pace yourself. If you buy a bag of Doritos, make sure it lasts the whole weekend. Don't eat them all on Thursday night. So
Yeah,
just
do that.
pace yourself. So, and I do want to give a shout out before we break. I know it's not it is technically college basketball season, but we don't care because football's still going on. But there is a team in college basketball right now. They are undefeated. They just won today, actually just won by 2. That is the first team in the history of the AP poll to beat 3 consecutive ranked teams by 30 or more points.
Who's that?
Michigan.
Oh,
And they are still not number one in the nation.
good. Fuck them.
Ladies and gentlemen, by the way, that's just a standard response whenever I see anything from Michigan, so just don't.
Mm-hmm. Fuck them.
Okay. So that's going to do it for this week. Again, enjoy the games. It is a marathon. It is not a sprint. Please pace yourself. So enjoy. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Sandlot Sports.